another key factor has to be the atmosphere we have built here, because a lot of players, like taking example of Jesse, he came into the squad and felt like we have known him for like weeks or maybe years, and he went out to make that performance, and he has given a huge credit to the kind of confidence the coaches have put into him.
Well, that's our job at the end of the day. That's what we're here for. We're here to make the players feel as good about themselves as we possibly can. And as I said, that can be the challenge sometimes as well. When you don't know guys very well and you've only got a few days to sort of make them feel comfortable and try and teach them as well about what we need them to do and what role we need them to play. That's a challenge. But yeah, Jesse was like a sponge. You know, the moment he came in, I couldn't believe. Once again, he's someone I saw in the World Cup, and then when I was looking through the squads and I think, and Jesse Singh's not any squad. Like how is that possible? And then obviously gets those 2-game opportunity with us and man of the match in both of them, and unfortunately has to go straight back out of the squad when Justin became fit again. So and he's been quite vocal with that. He said a few things to me, the last week about the environment we've got here and the fact that we trusted him and backed him and were willing to bowl him early on with a new ball and said he couldn't believe how hands-on I was and how much I talked and interacted with the guys. But that's just the environment that I think as Australians we always try and create. It's obviously not the same in every team around the world, but you heard me on that other podcast the other day. My job's to make players feel comfortable, make them better. Making them feel comfortable is the first step, because once you've broken them down and they feel comfortable, then you're likely to get more out of them. So it's good to hear those stories at the end, and I think they're the most satisfying stories you hear as a coach, is that you've maybe had some sort of influence on the way that the guys think about their cricket or play their cricket.
And of course, there have been little things that add up to everything, right? There's one thing I've noticed over the years. I've never seen you miss a single training session. Even if there's been one player on an off day who says, I want to go and bat a little, you have always been there with him.
Yeah, and I always say that, why wouldn't I? That's my job, and I'm passionate about making guys better. So, if I've got a 5-minute session with someone, or if I've got an hour in the nets, or I've got a couple of hours throwing to someone in the nets, I'm going to be there to make them better, because I enjoy doing that. I enjoy seeing improvement in players, because I know if I can make improvement in one player, and then the next day I can improve someone else, the next day I can improve someone else. If I can do that through all 11 or 19 or 20 players, then where we start at the start of the tournament to where we can get to at the end should be a significant increase in output from individuals and therefore from the team. So that's why I think tournament play, is so important, that you find ways, little areas, that you can get better from last game to this game, and if you can nail those and do the other things well, then you should theoretically get better every game.
And coach, just to know you a little better, we know what goes on the field, right, when you're at the training sessions, but there's so much more happening in the meetings or your individual prep also. How do you kind of prepare for the games or maybe for a tournament like this?
Talk a lot with the other coaches. That's the thing. I mean, Cameron's a very good coach. Sean Bradstreet's handled the bowls incredibly well. The first meeting I had with all the staff when I got here at the start was, Patrick, you look after the physical side of things. Asia, you look after the S&C side of things. Whitey, you look after the batting group. Sean, you look after the bowling group. And I'll be there across all of them when I think I need to be, but I won't interfere in what you're doing. That's your job. You look after that. If something's really wrong, then I'll talk to you about it. But I think that's one thing I've learned as a coach, is you have to let go sometimes and trust the people that you got around you, and the assistants. Actually, everyone, all staff have been awesome. It's never down to one or two people in a group to make the environment right, because it only takes one or two that aren't fully bought into it all to ruin everything. And we've got none of those here. We've got, everyone's been terrific to work with, and I feel we've got the team really well prepared for the final.
Yes, and how different are your preparations as a commentator then? Like, how does a day in your life look like? I've seen a video of day in your life. It looks really busy with you doing a bunch of things, but from what we haven't seen, what the prep looks like.
Oh, I guess, look, my own preparation, I didn't speak much about my own preparation from a coaching point of view, but I'll make sure that I've got all the messaging exactly right. So when I talk to the team today, what we've been able to do so far through this tournament is keep things really simple. Just really talk about the processes for individual players and the team and the way that I want the team to play. And we've just focused on one or two little things along the way. We haven't, and it's got no bigger or broader than that. And I think that's really important when you go into big games, is the ability to keep it really simple and the ability to keep the players focused on one or two things that make them play well. So, today when I chat to the boys later on, it won't be about a final. It's about another game of cricket that's played on a slightly different stage than the one we played on a couple of days ago. That's it. Because you start thinking about finals, you start thinking about results, then it's hard to focus on the little things you need to focus on to win. So today will be very much a process-driven meeting again. They'll be reminded about the things that have got them here, the things that they've done well, the things that we need to get better at, and we'll just refresh that in their minds again, and off they go. So it'll be nice and chilled. And if we start the game well, we get the basics right at the start of the game, then quite often in big games the adrenaline sort of kicks in, and as long as you start getting the basics right, then the basics turn into really big, incredible performances, which I think we can do tonight. So that's the commentary side of it. I mean, the coaching side of it. Commentary side of it's pretty much the same. I need to be well prepared for. Every day in the commentary box, it's only one little slip up here and there, or you get something wrong about a player or whatever it might be, and all the hard work and good work you've done can fall over pretty quickly. So I'm always well prepared for that stuff. And once again, because I don't just want to be the same as everybody else. I want to be good at what I do. That's I want to be a good coach. I want to be a good commentator. When I played, I wanted to be a good player. So I did everything I could to make sure that I was giving myself the chance to be the best.
I just want you to describe Travis Head for us. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, but what has changed in the last couple of years?
Look, even when you sit down and talk to him now, before a game or after a game, it's just he's got this incredible belief in himself. Like he honestly doesn't think a bowler can get him out ever. He doesn't think a bowler can bowl well to him. He feels that the bowler can bowl, and whatever he bowls, I can hit it for six, every ball, and that's the way. And that's been the difference with him. Before that, I think. 2 years ago, he was probably too worried about being perfect and doing everything right and impressing everybody. And now he's just worked out a way that works for him and a way that he can consistently score runs. What is it now? I think it's 5 in a row, isn't it, for us? Half centuries in a row. The last one, his high score, 77 not out in the last one. And, one thing I have been saying to our batting group is that one thing I'd love to see is for someone to get 100 for us. And who knows, with Travis, that might be tonight.
Last thing now. Talking about Ricky Ponting's personal life. We have the beautiful family here. They are keeping us quite entertained, and we always feel great around them. How do you feel about what Fletcher is doing in the nets?
No, it can be hard work for me on these tours.
Yeah.
I've got to coach a team, then I've got to coach him every other minute after that. So, no, look, I think, I'm always really grateful for the way that teams accept my family in, because one thing I talk about is making sure the environment feels like a family environment, and that's regardless for me if my family's there or not. I mean, you saw in the early days at DC, my family weren't there, but it was all about creating an environment where we looked after each other like family. So they've been accepted. The family's been accepted really well. I mean, they've spent more time in the team room than I have this year. Fletcher's spent more time in the nets than I have this year, and they genuinely fall in love with the teams. They fell in love with Delhi the whole time that they were there, and I think when you saw the other night, although it was Emmy's birthday after the last game, with them all rushing to me at the end, that wasn't about her birthday. That was about the fact that we won and we're in the final. Yeah. That's how much it means to them, and they're just sitting in the crowd watching. So they're heavily invested, which is great, and I guess that for me, extra motivation tonight to go on and win.
Amazing. I think that's all for now. Hopefully. Soon we'll chat again.
Hopefully tonight.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks,
it's a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks.